Coming up on today's show, I'll be recapping Shane Van Gisbergan's historic win at Watkins Glen International Raceway. Hello and welcome to Talking NASCAR with Andrew Volkman. I am Andrew Volkman. Thank you all for tuning in to today's episode. We are back with another episode. I'll be recapping, of course, Shane Van Gisbergan's historic win in the Watkins Glen International Raceway, the Go Bowling at the Glen. So I'll be recapping that today. I want to also apologize for not being as active on the show in recent days. It's almost a week since I last posted an episode. That's just due to the fact that I've had a lot of stuff going on, and recently we had some flooding, historic flooding and rain in this area that I live in. I live in southeastern Wisconsin, and this past Sunday we had historic rainfall in this region, and the lake I live on actually overflowed a little bit, and we had some stuff to clean up. The water hasn't fully receded yet, but me and my friends and family are hopeful that the water will recede fully by the end of hopefully tomorrow, hopefully. But the water's already gone down quite a bit. So just want to get that out there, and I want to thank you all for tuning in, even though I have not been as active in recent days. But do not worry, I will be back this week with regular episodes. I'm going to be back today with this episode. I'll be posting another one tomorrow, so make sure you are stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and just recap the Go Bowling at the Glen at Watkins Glen International Raceway. Shane Van Gisbergan, the Auckland, New Zealander, with his father in attendance, picked up the win. Pretty dominant win at the end. However, most of the race was led by Ryan Blaney. I'll get to him a little bit later. But Shane Van Gisbergan, a very good performance at Watkins Glen. It's pretty much expected that Shane Van Gisbergan will do very well at any and all road course. And coming into this weekend, many people thought, myself included, that Shane Van Gisbergan wouldn't be as successful as compared to some of the other road courses like the Chicago Street Race, because this is one of the few tracks that NASCAR drivers like Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, all these guys have experience on and have won at before. But that proved to be wrong because Shane Van Gisbergan bested all of them and was able to come out on top. But Shane Van Gisbergan again ran a really good race, led the majority of the final stages of that race. Very good. A very clean race, too, by the way. Only 3 cautions, 1 for cause, and that was for debris caused by Josh Berry getting turned off of the carousel down that little backstretch heading into turn 6. So a very clean race, very orderly race, a very quick race too. I think it only took about 2.5 hours to complete, which is very surprising, especially for a road course, being that it's a road course, and road courses are generally have a longer track. So very quick and quaint road course race, I will say. So it was very cool to see. Really cool to see Shane Van Gisbergen pick up his 4th win. That is his 4th win of the season. I just said that. That is the most wins for a rookie in the NASCAR Cup Series, which is unbelievable. He is the winningest rookie since 1968. I actually had to find where that is. I forget the name of the guy he just surpassed, but he's the winningest rookie driver since 1968. So I have to go ahead and find that real quick. Let me see if I can find that real quick. But either way, Shane Van Gisbergen makes history with his 4th win at Watkins Glen. So really good race. He just inked a multi-year contract extension earlier this weekend. On Saturday, it was announced with Trackhouse Racing. So he will remain in that car for several more years beyond this year. I was going to cover that actually in my next episode tomorrow, but I guess I'm talking about it here. So I'll just talk about that real quick. Trackhouse, I think, is really making a good move with keeping Shane Van Gisbergen on. He is a driver that will go out on a road course, and it's shown this year he will win on road courses. And as long as the playoff format remains this way, which most likely it will for 2026, possibly will change in 2027, I think Trackhouse is making the right move. You're bringing in a guy that will most likely get you a win on a road course and lock him into the playoffs. We saw Ross Chastain lock himself in the playoffs. And next year, we may see Connor Zilisch in that car, depending on his injury, which I will talk about tomorrow as well, because that was a very interesting injury. He actually had to withdraw that 87 car from this race. For those of you who don't know, quick little side story here. Connor Zilisch won the Xfinity Series race, actually beating Shane Van Gisbergan, his teammate, then in the 9 car for Junior Motorsports. Kind of wrecked Shane Van Gisbergen coming off the final turn onto the front stretch, but that's a kind of a tough spot for the spotters to see and tell where you're side by side. So Connor and Shane really didn't know where they were in that moment. So I'm not going to fault Connor Zilisch, but he ended up taking the win. Shane Van Gisbergen ended up being out of the race. Shane actually did say before Sunday's race yesterday that he was a little bit sore from that crash. So definitely very interesting, but able to persevere through that. But Connor ended on a win that weekend. However, getting out of the car post race in victory lane, he tried to get up on the car. He actually slipped and fell off the car, had a nasty hit on the ground, and was taken to the hospital after being knocked unconscious. During that whole process, he was loaded into an ambulance, taken to the infield care center, and eventually transferred to a local hospital. However, he was discharged later that night, and it was found that he had a broken collarbone, which is very sad to hear. And Trackhouse Racing decided to withdraw Connor Zilich's entry in the Cup Series race, the number 87 car, and decided just to withdraw that car that qualified 25th on Saturday. So, really unfortunate to hear Connor Zilich sustain that injury. But Connor said that he is doing a lot better. He is still in a little bit of pain, but he's doing a lot better. He's thankful to be walking around, and we are all too. Connor has been through a lot this year, through with the back injury, and now with this. That's really tough, especially in a rookie season, first full time season in the States in NASCAR. Connor Zilisch has been put through the ringer, to say the least, I would say. So great to hear Connor Zilisch is okay, and hopefully we will see him back out on track hopefully next season. The recovery time for a collarbone is between 8 and 14 weeks. So I believe that might take him out for the majority of the rest of the season, if not the entirety of the season. So I'm curious to see who Junior Motorsports will bring in to fill in for Connor Zilisch heading into the playoffs, because Cup Series guys are not allowed to compete in the lower series after the playoffs start for the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. And we saw guys like Christopher Bell and Chris Buescher, Michael McDowell, all making starts in the Xfinity Series and Truck Series respectively for different teams, trying to get that experience. But come the first race of the playoffs for the Xfinity Series and Truck Series, that will not be a thing. Cup Series drivers cannot go down to the lower ranks to race. So those guys are getting experience. So we won't see guys like Shane Van Gisbergen racing. We won't see Ross Chastain making starts for or Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series. Excuse me. So I'm very interested to see who um, Junior Motorsports will bring in. I suspect that Dale Earnhardt Jr. may look to some guys in the late model series, which he's done for part-time starts. I remember Bubba Pollard, excuse me, actually got a couple starts actually last year in a Junior Motorsports car. We know Carson Kvapil got a couple starts and actually went full-time last year. There's definitely some guys that Junior Motorsports can call on for replacements and fill-in drivers, to say the least. So just want a quick touch on that there. But let's go ahead and take a look at some top finishers here. We obviously got Shane Van Gisbergen taking the crown and the race win here. Looking at it, Christopher Bell ended up in P2, finishing second on a last lap pass against Chris Buescher, who ended up third. Both those guys had really good races, especially Buescher, who did get a stage win. Bell was running very consistent all day, finished third in stage 2, and then was not able to get some stage points in stage 1. I think he did pit, though. And Bell had a really good qualifying effort. It started in ninth, excuse me. So Bell had a really good race. Buescher had a very good race. William Byron finished in 4th after starting in 10th. Believe he as well. He finished in 2nd in stage 2. Did not get stage points in stage 1 because I believe he pitted before the end of stage 1, trying to flip the stage. Ryan Blaney ended up taking stage 2. Buescher took stage 1. So there you go with that. Chase Briscoe started in third, ended up finishing fifth. Fell a little bit behind, actually, midway through stage two. Did finish ninth in stage one, got some stage points. And then stage two fell outside of the top 10, did not receive stage points. I believe he kind of just faded a little bit, was not on the more so correct schedule, but ended up finishing up inside the top five. The pole sitter Ryan Blaney in sixth finished, got the stage win in stage two, excuse me. I'm all over the place, guys. Got seventh in stage one. Good effort from him for Ryan Blaney. And Daniel Suarez, who started in 19th, did not look like a big factor throughout the race, but late in the going, he was able to rally to finish seventh, and that is his first top 10 of the year since May. So, really good result for Daniel Suarez. His teammate Ross Chastain also in 10th after starting in fourth. Chastain got some good stage points, I believe, in stage one. Oh, no, excuse me. He did not. Chastain did not get stage points. He was very close to getting some stage points. I know. He was very close. Looking at the rest of the order, two 2311 racing cars, Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick in 8th and ninth, respectively. Both these guys weren't big factors, but Bubba Wallace continues to show some road course improvement, which is really good to see. And that is kind of interesting to see that he is finishing better than Tyler Reddick. And Tyler Reddick started in 21st, not a big factor all day, but still gets a solid finish and gets some good points at the end of the day. AJ Allmendinger in 11th. Again, not a really big factor, though a lot of people thought he would be heading into Watkins Glen because this is one of the big tracks we all thought he could possibly win at. But now he is possibly looking at Daytona, the regular season finale, to win his way into the playoffs because looking at the playoff points, which we will look at, he cannot point his way in with only 2 races left to go in the regular season. Eric Jones in 12th actually kind of got into his teammate, John Hunter Nemechek, who ended up in 32nd. Even both of those guys had really good runs going. Both of these guys ended up getting some stage points. Nemechek got 5th in stage one. Jones was just outside the top 10 in stage two. So, but ended up getting a really good finish in 12th for Legacy Motor Club. And Nemechek just got really unlucky today. Nemechek was really unlucky. Nothing of his own doing, which is very unfortunate to say. And we've seen Nemechek get a little bit over his head on some of these runs, but was really calm and cool today, and nothing of his own doing caused that bad day. Ryan Preece in 13th helps out his playoff bubble situation. He got a point in stage two, got some points in stage one, third in stage one to be exact. Good day for Ryan Preece that he desperately needed. However, looking at the playoff bubble, he did make it a little bit closer. 34 points to his teammate Chris Buescher, who is in the last points paying position for the playoff bubble. But Preece, unless he has really good weekends in Daytona and Richmond, which are very possible, Preece may have to win his way in. Joey Logano in 14th, not a big factor all day. And same with Austin Dillon, though. Austin Dillon, though, was running up inside the top 10 for a good portion of this race, I will say. So, Austin Dillon finishing in 15th. Him and Kyle Busch both had really good speed today, I believe. Kyle Busch down in P22, started 5th, ended up fading, getting spun a couple times, getting run off track. Unlucky for Kyle Busch, I would say. He had a really good car. Maybe not race winning speed, but definitely speed to contend for a top 10. I think that he could probably contend with Allmendinger, Jones, Preece, Logano, Dillon. Looking at some other guys, Austin Cindric in P16, Zane Smith in 17th. 2 Spire cars, Carson Hocevar in 18th. Kind of faded towards the end, used his stuff up a little bit, but yeah, he just didn't have the speed that he needed to compete. But he was running up inside the top 10 for a good portion of stage one. Ended up falling outside the top 10, I think, due to pit strategy. And then Michael McDowell started in 6th, ends up in P19. Wasn't on the right strategy. Him and Hocevar actually got spun by Michael McDowell heading down into turn one. So a little bit teammates roughing it up there. So this was a good shot for Michael McDowell. There is still Daytona. Daytona is a good track for him. He has won there. He won the Daytona 500. He's led a lot of laps there. Michael McDowell has. So Michael McDowell, I'm looking at Daytona possibly the way into the playoffs for that 71 car. Looking at some other guys, Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott down in P25 and 26, respectively. Elliott kind of faded at the end. That was Oof, not a good day for Chase Elliott. That is easily his worst finish of the season. He did get some stage points in stage one, getting 7, and that does help his regular season points lead or case for a little bit, but he's still a ways away back from William Byron, a full race uh, gap. So Elliott's going to need a lot of points if he wants to get that regular season points lead back. And then Denny Hamlin, he's not very good on road courses, even though this was a track that he's had success at in the past, but I guess that just isn't the case. Justin Haley in 27th and Gilliland in 28th actually ran solidly, I would say, but ended up just not really having it the good finish they wanted. How about Cody Ware? Cody Ware did not have a good finish. He finished in 29th, but he got a stage point in stage one. That's something I want to point out here because I think it's very important that I do. Looking at some other finishers, Alex Bowman finished in P20 after getting some really good points all of today. Second in stage one, ended up 7th in stage two. Good day for Bowman. Helps out his playoff bubble situation. He's not safe by any means, but he did add a little bit of a cushion to that points gap. 23rd of Stenhouse and 24th of Riley Herbst. Both these two got stage points as well. There was a lot of comers and goers, a lot of guys using pit strategy throughout the day to get some stage points. I don't necessarily know what for, but I guess. And then Brad Keselowski in 31st got some good stage points in stage two, finished 5th, but I don't think he was on the right strategy either, and he ended up down 31st. And same with Ty Gibbs. Yikes, that is not what Ty Gibbs wanted to see. Uh, got some stage points in stage two, excuse me, and finished in 9th. Got 2, but that is not what he needs if he wants to get himself in the playoff conversation. He does need a win as well. And anybody else that I need to highlight here, Kyle Larson, the only guy more than one lap down, 15 laps down, exited the track early with some brake issues, ended up coming back out on track and finished in last, but he did get the Xfinity fastest lap. So that is another point going to Kyle Larson, and that brings his grand total of the day to 2. So that is that for Kyle Larson, and that's about it for the notable finishers of today. And Shane Van Gisbergan ended up finishing in first. Now, I don't know if there's really anything else I want to talk about. The racing I thought was pretty solid. Again, I already talked about it. Very clean race, very smooth race. Not many cautions. There was only one for debris off of Josh Berry's car, and there was a couple spins here and there. Hocevar I mentioned, Josh Berry I mentioned, John Hernimacek got off track and then he got spun. There was a couple guys going off track in the bus stop chicane like Briscoe, Bush. There's some guys like that, but overall it was a pretty clean race, and those incidents were mostly hard racing and not really any fault of their own. So really clean racing, and the new tire that Goodyear brought to this race and will bring to the Charlotte Roval, I think had a pretty good impact. There was a clear discrepancy in tire wear. I remember Chase Elliott stayed out after stage one and just fell off a cliff on the restart. He was split 3 wide, just didn't have the grip, and I think he paid the price overall. So track position was not the name of the game today, although it was very important though. If you had equal tires to everyone, you definitely needed track position to hold that lead and get up to the front. So, but the different strategies, there was discrepancy between them with the older tires. It wasn't a fuel mileage race today, which is very good to see after Iowa last week. So there is that. And with all that being said, I need to look at the standings. I just remembered that I need to look at the standings. Regular season points, real quick. Chase Elliott is down by 42 points on William Byron, who currently leads the way. And then going on back, Hamlin, Bell, and Larson all out by 80 plus points. And then Blaney on back out by over 100 plus points. So they're going to need a lot to eventually get their way back. But Elliott most likely is the guy that can compete for the regular season points championship, which again, get some playoff bonus points, some extra bonus points as well, and second gets some as well. So it's not like Elliott will get nothing, but he does want a little bit more heading into the playoffs, considering he only has that one win and not many stage wins. He only got one stage win. So he's definitely going to need a lot more if he wants to compete for that regular season points championship. And then the playoff bubble, looking at it now, Tyler Reddick in 14th. He's up by 117 points. Unless we get, I mean, he can't realistically lose his way out of the playoffs. There's only 2 races left to go in the season. So Reddick is virtually locked in on points unless he has 2 disastrous races at Daytona and Richmond. Bowman out by in by 60, excuse me. I don't know why I said out there. And then Busher in by 34. And the first guy out is Ryan Preece out by 34. Bush out by 102. Gibbs out by 125. Allmendinger out by 129. Keselowski out by 153, Hocevar out by 156, and Eric Jones in 23rd out by 157. So realistically, Busch on back need to win their way in to the playoffs. And the guys that are really in danger of losing their spot in the playoffs are Alex Bowman in the 48 and Buescher in the 17 car, currently in 16th, the last driver in on points, only if there are 2 new winners, and that's how many we can get. So Bowman and Buescher are not safe. Reddick virtually locked in. I think there is still a possibility that he does lose a lot of points here. I think realistically, Reddick, I think, can go down a couple spots to Bowman and Buescher if he has really, really bad races. But I really don't see him relinquishing that many points to a point where he might fall out of the playoffs on points. Because 117, it's happened before. There's been gaps like that have erased really, really fast. Like I point to Bowman early in the year. He had a big points cushion and had a couple bad races in a row and then ended up just on the playoff bubble. So definitely got to look out for Reddick there. Reddick needs to run consistently though. So definitely need to watch out for that. But those are the regular season points and playoff bubble standings. Now it's time for me to rate this race on a scale of 1% to 100%. The Go Bowling at the Glen. I already listed everything I wanted to say. Again, smooth race, very quick race, which I do appreciate. I do appreciate a quick race. Does seem a little bit boring at times. The racing though, the racing was good. You had a lot of side by side battles heading into the bus stop, especially in the carousel. Passing lanes were very good. The next gen car continues to get a little bit better on road courses, a little bit marginal improvements. So it's not great road course racing by any means, but it's still fine racing. So I think I'm going to give this race a 60%. You had a little bit of pit strategy, and you actually had like 3 different pit strategies. You had like one pit strategy that like I'm pretty sure Van Gisbergan and like all the top 10 were on. And then you had the other strategy that like Elliott and some other guys were on. And then Bowman was just on an island of his own at one point with his own strategy, which was very confusing. So there's that. I did like the pit strategy element. There was a clear discrepancy in tire wear, and you could pass if cars were on older tires and did not have the grip. So I do appreciate that. 60% for me, I think will do just fine for the Go Bowling at the Glen. So let me know down in the comments what you think or you thought of me Go Bowling at the Glen at Watkins Glen International Raceway. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you very, very soon. I will see you tomorrow, actually, with a new episode, and I'll be uploading much more regularly this week because I got a lot of news to cover from the days I missed last week. So I'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody.